Certainly there, the frustration. Host of Power Play and CTV's Question Period, Evan Solomon, for us right there in the thick of things. Evan, good to see you. Kind of paint me a picture. I know you've been talking to a lot of people while you've been out there. What are you hearing and seeing?
Well, we just came on Parliament Hill, so I'll just give you a sense where we are. This is the West Block. That's the main part of Parliament Hill, where there's a lot of gatherings. This is called Wellington, and you can see beneath there all the trucks. We've been among the crowd, people holding signs. This is not China there. There's a lot of families here. There's a lot of people who don't like the media. And I've been speaking to them. I will tell you, most people here have been very civil. They have their strong views on vaccine mandates. There's concerns about the QR code, about government overreach, about media coverage. This has clearly morphed long from just a protest about the government rescinding its exemption for cross-border truckers. As you know, both the U.S. and Canada no longer have an exemption for truckers to pass the border. They need a vaccine, and they'd warned about this for months. That triggered this. Now it's become an 18-wheel vehicle of various political agendas. Frustration at mandates, frustration at the government. You've got different political movements loading up their ideas. Maxime Bernier from the People's Party will have a rally in about an hour and a bit. There's been conservative politicians who have supported it, liberal politicians who have distanced themselves from this, and there's lots of different people here. It is important to know, though, the organizers of the rally have been very explicit of their mandate. There's an organization called Canada Unity, which really started this. They published a memorandum of understanding that they're collecting signatures for that does call, essentially, and you can read it, it's not a conspiracy, for the overthrow of the elected officials. They want a new committee, they call it, between the unelected Senate, the Governor General, and Canada Unity to get rid of all the mandates and govern the country. Some of those folks behind the organization have been associated with Western separatists. Other organizers of part of the convoy have been openly talking about, hate speech. And then you get a lot of people here who are just very frustrated with the mandates. They want this to end. You talk to them, they don't know about that stuff. They're here because they want, quote, their freedom back. They've done their part. So there's a lot going on, and it's very difficult to generalize, but $7 million has been raised, and the organizers are in charge of it. So you got to both follow the money and listen to the people, and sometimes there's a big difference there.
Yeah, indeed, Evan. And when you talk about the amount of money raised now, we've got an update. We're close to $8.1 million now raised of that $9 million goal. Indeed, but as you say there, you've now got this level of what started off as one focus here, one removing the vaccine mandates for drivers and their frustration, to now this exploding into something much, much larger of people who are just exhausted, they're fatigued, they're angry, they've perhaps lost their jobs or they can't do their job, and they just want to get back to normal life. Give me a sense as well in terms of the amount of security that you've been seeing there. Everything has been very peaceful. That's what the promise has been. But of course, there are concerns, as you've pointed out, of other outlying groups that may feel that they can be part of this and could cause a bit of ruckus, drowning out the real message here. I understand some drones from the RCMP have also been flying over.
Yeah. Let's stress, I've been walking openly through the crowd for hours. It's very peaceful. You talk to people, they're very open. There are people, so far they're honking their horn, they're making hamburgers. There's no sense that this thing is a boiling bubble on the ground, but there's an enormous amount of security. There are police forces both from the city, from the RCMP. Overhead, there are a series of drones, and we've taken pictures. One just whipped over my head right now to the right of my shoulder. So there's drones, there's security on rooftops here. There's a drone coming, just hovering right over me right now. Here it comes. I'm pointing to it right now. Now, I asked some RCMP officers, are these RCMP and security drones, or are they just regular folks? It's illegal to fly a drone like that here. They said some people are trying to fly drones, but mostly they're security. You might hear some popping. There's fireworks going off, but there's a lot of security. One thing to keep in mind for a lot of people across the country, and I just spoke to someone who came from Manitoba. I said, why'd you come? He goes, I've never been to Ottawa before. Well, a lot of folks haven't been to Ottawa, and they don't realize that the parliamentary precinct is quite small. Wellington, behind me, is a pretty narrow road. So you've got a bunch of trucks on it, but a lot of the other roads beneath Parliament, a block away, are closed off. So there's going to be trucks spread way across the city. And I've walked some of these streets across highways. This is a very closed area. So it's very difficult to get a sense of how big the convoy is, because it's going to be dispersed throughout the city, because there's not a real big central location for everyone to be, although this will be the central location. So again, it's going to be much bigger than you can see here. No one really knows how big, and security forces are spread throughout the city. They've blocked off roads with some of these big snow plows, and that's caused basically a lot of traffic jams for a lot of people in big trucks and in pickup trucks. And you see, like here's a guy, I'll just say, he's angry. There's a lot of F Trudeau stuff here. I will say this, and if I can, you can see, give a sense, they're called sense of traitor. There's a lot of tough language here. We just saw a helicopter fly over, and I don't know if it's coming here, but it actually has the term F Trudeau on the bottom of it. And it's interesting, a helicopter, that means it's been rented and painted with this political message. And you know what that shows me? There's a lot of money. You said $8.1 million. There's a lot of money pouring into this. Renting a helicopter to fly over here with that message shows there's financial backing here.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you say there, the crowds are, you know, where you are, we can see it's all very jam-packed. But to your point there, this is going to be spread out in whichever area people can gather. Indeed. All right, CTV's Evan Solomon, host of Power Play and Question Period. You know, great analysis on that, Evan, and I appreciate the bird's eye view that you're giving us. We'll check back with you later on.